Hello everyone, and welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk. And I'm trying to adjust my camera here to where it shows more of my face. Let me see if I can get this to just a second, just to work with me here. See if I'll be able to at least show more of my face. Yeah, that should work. So we'll go with that. So again, I apologize for my camera issues on my iPhone, or at least with the issue trying to get my camera to work. So welcome back into this episode of Matt Sports Talk. We are recapping all the women's games from yesterday, and there were a lot of exciting matchups. So without further ado, let's dive into that. And we are going to start up in Mishawaka, where Bethel hosted Goshen, and Bethel, no problem here, 86-46, and this is on the women's side. So Bethel, the winners here, as I alluded to, 86-46, and for Goshen, they did have a couple of bright spots, led by Kyla Smith, 10 points for 9 shooting, and then 4 points for Kyla Foster, and she did have 2 rebounds, though. Only a pair of points for Lillian Null, but she had 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And then you had only 4 points for Lucia Luke Morales, but she did have 5 rebounds, though. And then off the bench, Paulicia is on only 3 points, but she had 2 rebounds plus a steal. 3 points for Zion Finessi with 2 assists. 3 points for Ava Egolf with 2 rebounds and 2 assists. 4 points for Sarah Elfrey with 2 rebounds, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 blocks. Really, really good numbers there. And then Carrie Heiler provided the biggest spark for the Lady Maple Leafs, 13 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 2 of 7 from downtown, 5 of 6 at the line, though, 2 rebounds and an assist for her. And the Maple Leafs shot 34 from the field, 21 from 3, and they really struggled at the free throw line once again, converting just 8 out of 19 for 42%, 14 turnovers for the Maple Leafs, and 14 turnovers for Bethel, so pretty even there. And looking at the stats for Bethel, they shot way better from the field at 55, and they were way better from 3 at 40, and way better at the free throw line, converting 15 out of 18 for 83%. And they were led by, really no surprise here, Mariah Claywell, the senior, 8 of 11, 21 points for her, 8 of 11 shooting, 3 of 4 of that was from downtown, 2 of 2 at the line, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. 14 points for Isabella No, the freshman, a perfect 6 of 6 shooting, 1 of 1 from downtown, 1 of 2 at the line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. 10 points for Isabel Scales, now 8 of the 10 were at the free throw line, though. She had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. 13 points for Olivia Nickerson, 5 of 9 shooting, 3 of 6 from downtown, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. And then 9 points, for Jasmine Smith, 4 of 5 shooting with 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. And then off the bench, off the bench, Hannah Ruddle only with 2 points, but she had 2 assists though. And then 6 points for Jocelyn Marshall with 3 rebounds. She also had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. And then in 4 minutes of action, Allison Metzger and Faith Fleetwood did not score. Now Metzger, though, in 4 minutes of action did have a rebound. And then Justice Williams with 6 points, 2 of 2 at the line with 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Only 2 points for Love Rain Gaskins in 7 minutes of action. She had 2 rebounds. Only 1 point for Dominique Stilley in 8 minutes of action, but that was at the free throw line, though. She had 2 rebounds and 2 points for Annabelle Wilhite. 1 of 1 shooting, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And that was your matchup there. And the next matchup will take us to Spring Arbor, Michigan, where number 5 Marion hosted now number 18 Spring Arbor. Marion, the winners here, 55-40. And of course, for Spring Arbor, they forced Marion into 20 turnovers, which was their highest turnovers of the season. And meanwhile, and then for Spring Arbor, they held Marion to their lowest offensive scoring of the whole entire season. But Spring Arbor does get Marion does get the win here, and a big win at that, because with the win, Marion goes 1 game ahead of Spring Arbor for that number 2 seed. Marion now officially holding that head-to-head tiebreaker after they beat the Lady Knights the Lady Cougars, I should say, earlier this year. The Lady Knights beat the Lady Cougars by 20 points the first go-around, so obviously that head-to-head tiebreaker really, really important. And looking up stats for Marion, they were led by Abby McNally, 16 points, 15 rebounds, so a double-double for her, 7 of 13 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line with 1 steal. Only 4 points for her sister Kylie McNally, who also started. 2 of 5 shooting with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 blocks, though. 6 points for Madison Bailey, 2 of 4 shooting. She had 8 rebounds as well as 3 assists. And then you had 4 points for Taylor Double with a rebound, an assist, a steal, and a block. And 9 points for Olivia Faust. And she struggled shooting, just 3 of 12, but she did have 3 rebounds, a steal, and a block, though, and she was a perfect 2 of 2 at the charity stripe. Off the bench, you had Kennedy Coleman in 3 minutes of action with 2 points plus a rebound, and then Violet Shaluga and Zoe Wheeler, 2 minutes and 8 minutes of total of playing time. Shaluga, no statistics. Wheeler, though, did have a rebound in 8 minutes of action. And Eva Fisher really provided a spark off the bench. 12 points, 2 of 7 shooting, 8 of 10 at the line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 steals, though. And then in 7 minutes of action, Emily Grimm did not score, but she had a block and 2 rebounds. And then off the bench, Kenna Kirby, 1 of 5 shooting, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, though. And the Knights really struggled shooting at 37 and were just 1 of 10 from 3 at 10%. And they were good at the free throw line, converting 14 out of 19 for 73%. And meanwhile, for Spring Arbor, they were worse from the field at 25, way worse from 3, just 1 of 13 for 7.7%, and way worse at the free throw line, converting 9 out of 19 for 47%. And the leading scorer for the Cougars was Megan Zeitz with 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, and a block, though. 8 points for Elena Colesa. 4 of those were at the free throw line, though. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block. 4 points for Haven Chapman. She was 2 of 2 at the line, though. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. 4 points for Emma Smyska with 6 rebounds and a block. And 2 points for Ashley Weller with a rebound and a steal. And off the bench, you had Elena Blumberg with 2 points and 7 minutes of action, 2 rebounds, a steal, and a block. 5 points for Madison Socini with 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. 2 points for Rachel Reichert in 6 minutes of action with a rebound. 2 points for 2 points for Ryland Goodwin, 2 of 2 at the line, though. So both points were at the charity stripe. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. And then 2 points for Aubrey Crockett with 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And that was your matchup there. And the next matchup takes us to Winona Lake, Indiana, where number 6 St. Francis faced off against the Lancers of Grace, and St. Francis, the winners here, 95-80, so a very high-scoring game, and this was way different than the first time these two teams met when St. Francis beat Grace in the Hutzel Athletic Center by over 60, I believe it was by over 60 or 70 points first go around. Grace, though, has really improved since then, but still a big win for St. Francis here. That is for sure, and they were led by Taylor Fordyce in a career-high 31 points, 12 of 15 shooting, 5 of 6 from downtown, 2 of 2 at the line, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. 6 points for Renna Schweiderman with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. 12 points for Julia Mantala, 4 of 8 shooting, 4 of 7 of that was from beyond the arc, 1 rebound and a block for her. And then you had 19 points for Isabella Gizzi, 7 of 13 shooting, 2 of 6 from downtown, 3 of 5 at the line. 9 rebounds, 3 assists for her, and 20 points for Callie Gregory, 7 of 14 shooting, 1 of 4 from downtown, 5 of 5 at the line, though, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal for her. And off the bench, 5 points for Samaya Stout, 2 of 4 shooting with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. So really, really good numbers there. And then Ashley Cox in 6 minutes of action had a block and a steal. 2 minutes of action, Allison Show, 1 of 2 shooting with 2 points plus a rebound. And Emma Royst in 7 minutes of action had an assist. And St. Francis shot really, really well from the field at 50, really good from 3 at 50, and they were really good at free throw line too, converting 12 out of 15 for 80%. For Grace didn't shoot the ball bad either, 41 from the field. They were worse from 3 at 34 and worse at the free throw line, but still not too terribly bad though, 9 out of 13 for 69%. And Grace had some really, really good scoring too, and they were led by Emma Sperry, 19 points. She did struggle shooting, just 7 of 22, 3 of 13 from 3, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block. 15 points for Becca Longenbaugh, getting in the starting rotation for the first time, I believe, this year. 15 points for Becca, 5 of 9 shooting, which was all from beyond the arc. 3 rebounds, 4 assists for her. 10 points for Becca Gert, 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown. 8 rebounds and a steal, though. 16 points for Maddie Pointer, 4 of 9 shooting, 3 of 8 from downtown, 5 of 6 at the line. 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Really, really good productive numbers there. And then 8 points for Morgan Houck, who achieved over 1,000 career points last night, so big congratulations to her. 7 assists, 2 rebounds, and a block as well. And then off the bench, Kate Thomas getting, I believe, her first playing time in quite some time. 5 minutes of action with 2 rebounds. Molly Long, 1 minute of action, the first game she's played in, I believe, since the IWU game when they were at IWU back on January 10th. Molly Long did have an assist, though. And then 8 minutes of action, Riley Wetz had 2 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. And 12 points for Braylon Terrell off the bench, with 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 2 at the line, 7 rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks. And that was your matchup there. And the next matchup takes us to Mount Vernon Nazarene, where Huntington, receiving votes, Huntington faced off against Mount Vernon. And this game was really, really good. It was really interesting as well, as it looked like Mount Vernon was struggling in the first quarter, and then Mount Vernon was red hot in the second quarter, outscoring the Foresters 23-10 and taking an 8-point lead into halftime. And then after that, it was all Huntington the rest of the way, outscoring Mount Vernon 25-9 in the third quarter and 21-12 in the fourth. Huntington 76-59 here. So really, really good win for the Foresters, and they were led by Liv Raby, who had 24 points, 9 of 11 shooting, 1 of 1 from downtown, which was the first time I've seen her make a three-pointer, so that was really, really good to see that. 5 of 7 at the line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, so she really filled the stat sheet up pretty well. 9 points for Kendra Sheets, 3 of 3 at the line though, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. 6 points for Tegan Akers, 2 of 3 shooting, which was all from beyond the arc, 4 rebounds and 2 assists for her. And then you had 11 points for Addie Shank, 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 4 at the line, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 16 points for Annika Nelson. 8 of those 16 were in the first quarter, I might add. 7 of 14 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, plus a block. Off the bench, Izzy Shepard in 3 minutes of action, no statistics. Peyton Hartsoe, 3 minutes of action, no statistics either. And in 15 minutes of action, Lauren Merritt, 1 point, which was at the free throw line though, 2 rebounds, 1 assist for her. And then Kendall Yoakum really provided a spark off the bench for the Lady Foresters. 9 points, 3 of 7 shooting, which was all from beyond the arc. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal for her. And then Huntington shot really well from the field at 50, really good from 3 at 40, and decent at the free throw line, converting 12 out of 16 for 75. Mount Vernon, though, way worse from the field at 37, way worse from 3 at 33, and they only got to the free throw line 5 times, converted 3 of those for 60%. And then the one thing that kind of hurt Mount Vernon was they had 14 turnovers, and Huntington turned that into 21 points, so that's really a big difference there. And then for Mount Vernon, they were led by Angela Roshak, 15 points, 6 of 14 shooting, 3 of 4 at the line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. 8 points for Kylie Leibacher, but she had 1 rebound and a steal, though. Only 2 points for Olivia Skilling. She had a rebound and an assist and a steal. Only 6 points for Anna Swisshelm, 3 of 7 shooting, 5 rebounds and an assist. And 14 points for Lily Shepard, 6 of 15 shooting with 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. And then off the bench, you had Melody Bluebaugh, really provided a spark. 11 points, 4 of 9 shooting, 3 of 8 of that was from downtown. 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 rebound. And then you also had Abigail Hardwick in 18 minutes of action, had 3 assists plus 2 steals. 3 points for Naomi Kaib, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. And that was your matchup there. And the final matchup takes us to Marion, Indiana, where Indiana Wesleyan faced off against the Trojans of Taylor, and for the Wildcats, they were looking to avenge a 66-61 loss at Taylor back in late November during the second game of conference play. And Indiana Wesleyan, of course, that was a kind of a rough game for them back in November, and a game that they probably should have won. But Indiana Wesleyan, the winners here last night, 81-65, and they continue that home dominance this year, and they get their first home win in 2026, and a huge one at that, a quad 1 win for the Wildcats, and that definitely will help them in terms of a potential national tournament bid. And for the Wildcats, they had some really good scoring, but so did Taylor. They were led by Casey Warfel, really no surprise here, 22 points, 6 of 13 shooting. She was 4 of 10 from 3, and a lot of that was in the first quarter. So Indiana Wesleyan's defense did a really, really good job in the second half, that is for sure. 2 rebounds and a steal for her, Casey Warfel. That's who I meant. 15 points for Maddie Allen, so really not bad there either. 6 of 14 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 at the line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Only 2 points for Emma Full, but she had 2 rebounds and 2 assists, though. 4 points for Quinn Kelly, she had 4 rebounds. 11 points for Selena Blount, 5 of 11 shooting. She did have 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, though, so really no surprise there. And she now holds the single-season record for most blocks in one season with the Taylor Lady Trojans at 61 blocks now officially and counting for the rest of the year. So a big congratulations to her. And then for the Trojans, off the bench, you had Kendall Seitzema with 2 points, which was all at the charity stripe, though. 1 steal, 1 rebound for her. Katie Moyer in 2 minutes of action with 2 points plus a steal. And then you also had Callie Allman getting some playing time but did not have any statistics. Marissa Trout, 5 points, 2 of 3 shooting. And then you also had Kaylin Bunch in 2 minutes of action, had 2 rebounds, though. It's really good to see that. And then Emma Anselit had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal in 19 minutes of action. And then 2 points for Micaiah Musselman in just 3 minutes of action, which was both at the charity stripe, though. 1 rebound for her. Taylor shot 42 from the field, 26 from 3, 61 at the line, converting 16 out of 26. So that was the one downside for Taylor, was the struggles at the free throw line, though, and obviously the struggles from 3. But the field shooting, not too bad at 42. The Wildcats were even from the field at 42. They were better from 3 at 37 and way better at the free throw line, converting 20 out of 21 for 95%. And this is a Lady Wildcat team that on the year has only averaged about 75% at the line. So really good to see this. And then for the Wildcats, they were highlighted by a freshman duo that really helped them against St. Francis at home back in December. The freshman duo helping them again last night against a really good Taylor team. They were led by Ayla Krieger. No surprise here. 24 points, back-to-back games where she scored over 20 points. She had 22 against Goshen last Saturday, which was a career high. So a new career high last night with 24. 8 of 15 shooting, 3 of 4 from downtown, 5 of 6 at the line, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. 5 points for Jade Hovey, 2 of 2 shooting, 1 of 1 from downtown. She had 3 assists and a rebound as well. 6 points for Kylie Bettinger. However, 3 of the 6 were at the charity stripe, though. And then Emily Mattingly back in the starting lineup after being out at Goshen last Saturday. So that is awesome to see Emily back, and I know she's still got to take it kind of easy. I did see some pictures where she was wearing a leg, looked like a leg boot. So obviously we hope and pray that she stays fully healthy and that she gets healed very soon. But it's awesome to see her back in the starting lineup. She had 8 points in her return, struggled shooting, but she was 2 of 2 at the charity stripe, and she's gotten way better at the free throw line, though. She only averaged, I believe, 60% at the free throw line last year, and this year she's up to, I believe, 71, 72%. So a really good to see that out of her. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals, though. So, man, I love seeing her defensive presence, that is for sure. And then 19 points, the other freshman on the team, Addie Hovey, 19 points, 8 of 12 shooting, 3 of 3 at the line, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block, though. And then off the bench in 2 minutes of action, Sophia Schroeder did not score, but she did have a rebound, though. And then you had Haley Amy in 2 minutes of action, had 2 rebounds. Tori Thompson did not score, but she did have 3 assists and 2 rebounds, though. Sydney Gooden in 2 minutes of action did not score, but she had 1 rebound. 5 points for Corinne Grivey. Now, 2 of the 5 were at the free throw line, though. She had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. 5 points for Mila Browning, 2 of 3 shooting, 1 of 2 from downtown, plus a rebound. And then 9 points for Ellie Kelleher. Now, 5 of the 9 were at the free throw line, though. She had 1 steal and 1 rebound. And that was your matchup there. And that concludes recapping all of the games from last night. So previewing the games for Saturday, you'll have Mount Vernon Nazarene at number 18, Spring Arbor, Grace at Receiving Votes Huntington, number 5, Marion at Goshen. You'll have Bethel at Receiving Votes Taylor, and America's Game of the Week, receiving votes Indiana Wesleyan. They did crack back into the Receiving Votes category with the updated top 25 poll yesterday, which was a little bit of a shock to me. And you'll have Receiving Votes Indiana Wesleyan at number 6, St. Francis. So taking a look at the updated standings, you'll have St. Francis still the number 1 seed at 10-1, 1 game ahead of Marion, who's the 2 seed at 9-2, Spring Arbor the 3 seed at 8-3, Huntington the 4 seed at 7-4, Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan tied for the number 5 and 6 seed respectively at 6-5. However, the Wildcats technically do have that tiebreaker right now over the Lady Trojans because of the Wildcats win over St. Francis back in early December. And so technically the Wildcats would be that number 5 seed at 6-5, Taylor the 6 seed at 6-5, and then Bethel the 7 seed, solely the 7 seed at 5-6. They are 3 games ahead of Grace and Mount Vernon Nazarene, who are both 2-9 in the conference, and Grace and Mount Vernon Nazarene fighting for that last playoff spot. Of course, only 8 teams get in the league tournament, and then Goshen 2 games out of the playoff hunt at 0-11 in league play. So for Bethel, they're looking really, really good to make the league tournament, and all Bethel needs is they would just need 2 more wins and or 2 Grace and Mount Vernon Nazarene combined losses, and then Bethel would more than likely clinch no worse than that number 7 spot, depending on what happens with Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan the rest of the way. So that is a view of the updated standings and a view of and recapping and then also recapping the latest games from the Crossroads League. So if you did enjoy this video, or if it was very helpful to you, please either like, comment, or subscribe. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. I truly appreciate any feedback that you may provide me. So thanks so much for tuning into this video, and I'll be back with you on Sunday recapping all of the games from Saturday, and then Monday I'll be recording an updated video going over the updated RPI numbers with you, and then also on Tuesday going over the updated, I believe the quad records are the ones that come out on Tuesday. The ARC numbers, I believe, come out Monday. So Monday, more than likely, I'll be recording a video going over both the RPI and the ARC, or at least the RPI. I'm not sure exactly when the ARC numbers are going to come out on Monday. However, if the ARC numbers are out Monday afternoon, I will be going over that and plus the RPI with you, and then I know the quad records come out Tuesday, so I'll be recording a video then going over those updated numbers. And again, that the quad records are really, really important in terms of national tournament selection. So again, make sure that you stay tuned for all of that. Have a great rest of your week. God bless, and I will see you on Sunday with the next video. God bless you and your family.